Hello and welcome to episode 78 of the Football Retro Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny, and today we've got another full table. Darcy's back. Everyone's back. How you doing, Darcy?
Good, very good. It's been a while since I've been on the show, but I did miss you guys actually talking football, but I'm back in the hot seat.
You missed it so much that you couldn't watch a full episode.
I only got halfway through, but I'm planning to watch the other half.
No, we got to dissect it.
I
for
got
a
to
second,
see
Darcy.
your voice, man.
Oh, fair enough.
What episode were you here? 71?
No, the one before.
It was in the 50s.
70?
It was in the 50s, I think.
Oh, in the 50s.
We haven't been that long.
I feel like we've been stuck in the 70s
Yeah.
section of episodes for a while.
Some of us are still stuck in the 70s, aren't we?
78. 78, what does that mean?
Speak for
The
itself.
World Cup in 78 when
Yes,
Argentina
yes.
hosted and won.
Ding, ding.
Oh, is that why you put that jersey out?
No, I'm asking.
Oh.
I'll be asking
That
for
jersey because he's got like
I reckon
18
episode
different
77, 76, and 75 were different variations of Argentina.
The 86 will be the
I Sully has in the.
Okay, witnesses. Have I been asking for an Arsenal jersey to be placed there for how long now?
I don't remember. That.
What are you talking
I've
about?
lost count.
Oh, fucking Darcy! You just ruined it.
No one brings anything. So, big couple of weeks in football. Madrid derby was played.
Yeah, it was. And unfortunately, with the pre-game talk and the controversy around a dance celebration of Vinicius' dance celebrations after scoring a goal, everyone made a big deal of it, which I don't know why. I mean, Griezmann has his stupid fortnight celebration, whatever it is. And everyone, Ronaldinho's been doing these Brazilian dance celebrations for years. Whoever other players doing it.
I don't even know the story. What the
Yeah,
heck?
who criticized
What
Vinicius for everything?
Some head of the Association of Agents.
But what did he do?
Saying, "Oh, you got to show respect to your rivals."
But what did he
dance.
dance? What did he dance?
Brazilian samba, whatever.
Show
it
us
was.
how he did it.
Oh, I'll probably fall over and trip over. But I'm
But
not
the
Brazilian.
people don't even know. What if someone doesn't watch the Spanish?
No,
league?
they were making a big deal of it. But why?
Okay,
ask
give
me
us
why.
give us a dance while you're sitting there.
No, I
Just
can't.
with your
No,
arm.
this isn't.
Just with your arm.
Whatever it is, I don't know. But the point is, why are you making a big deal of it?
What did they actually say is the problem?
It's showing disrespect, apparently.
After he scored, or was it
After
just
he scored, yeah.
His goal celebration.
His goal
He does the samba.
Ah,
It's on
that's
the sub-
we're having a
Yeah.
cry. That sounds like some
What, so
woke
Peter Crouch
bullshit.
did that robot dance. I mean,
But
no one.
Hey, don't fucking miss that
Considering
robot.
considering
Why?
Atletico Madrid, who was their upcoming opponent, has Griezmann, who has a different dance every season.
No one says anything.
Who possibly got offended by him dancing?
I don't know. So the media blew it up.
Some
Some
woke
guy,
fuckwit.
some. I don't know if it was a journalist or a head of the Agents Association said something about it. He goes, he's acting like a monkey. And then what happened before the game?
Oh, 'cause he's black.
What happened before the
Racist.
game? Thousand Atletico fans calling him a monkey. Vinicius El Mono. Vinicius El Mono. And then
Does that mean
in
monkey?
in the stadium happened as well.
I don't believe that.
Did you
In the
figure it
stadium
out,
happened
Paddy?
as well. So if La Liga don't come out hard on him, if Atletico don't do
Did
anything,
they throw any bananas?
they threw stuff at him when him and
Were there
Rodrigo.
bananas?
I didn't see it.
So,
Did he eat one of those bananas?
if they
Well,
throw
like
bananas,
Danny Alves did was. He
Yeah.
got thrown
If they
one.
threw bananas at me, I'd eat them for free.
And then rounded 1-2-1, Rodrigo, great goal. They did him and Vinicius doing the dance move, and the fans went
Oh,
happy.
how come Rodrigo didn't get told off?
he's a little monkey. He's shorter.
Yeah, but
You know what?
wasn't-
You know what? Tall striker, short striker.
they're both the same height. But
The same
it was
I like.
in terms of the game itself, it was Atletico came out strong as well, of course, but Real kept the composure, and Valverde another top game scoring again. He's in fire, that guy.
Can I
Yeah,
just say,
Federico Valverde, what a player.
I feel like your anger is misplaced when it comes to Real Madrid.
Because
It's over. Like you're over the OTT with the anger because you feel like it's a personal attack.
why are you targeting him for? That's the thing. But then the
No,
good thing out of it, Gabriel Jesus came out supporting him. All these Neymar saying
Here we
supporting him.
go.
Richarlison
All these
and
Brazilians.
Jesus celebrated as well, like with his goal as well. Brazilian
2
style.
centimeters difference between Vinicius and Rodrigo.
Yeah. But anyway,
Technics is still shorter.
important 3
How's
points, unbeaten in the season.
Yeah, no one cares about Madrid. Let's move on.
Move on to the international break.
How good is Lewandowski going? Lewandowski's going all right. Top
He's scoring.
scorer of the Liga.
He's scoring. Yeah. They've
Wow!
Interesting.
he
Yeah.
has, he's been scoring, which is good. Which is what he's been
But how good was Vinicius' goal?
But it's Vinicius thing.
But, they are 2 points off the lead. So-
Focus on the negative now.
Yeah.
And the Clasico's coming up, I think, a few weeks after the international break. So that will be the
I have a feeling Madrid's going to lose.
Clasico.
Hope
Yes.
so.
Well, if we lose, but if we win the league, I'll take that.
I still think you're going to lose because I think that you
We'll see.
can't. Listen, every team can't go winning every game. You've got to.
Oh, look,
you're going to have to lose the game.
The bubble will burst eventually. But they're doing quite well. And the midfield as well has been. I mean, Casemiro's replacement, Schuameni.
That's about
been a
Lewandowski. I don't know how we got to
Great
there.
player.
yeah. So about
Back to
Lewandowski,
Anyway,
I don't think anyone was surprised though that he's done so well. Like it is Lewandowski, but I have to say I'm more impressed by the system that the system Xavi's been able to put in. Whenever you have like a rookie coach who's had an illustrious career, there was always this, have they been hired because of their name and reputation, and that usually tends to be one of the reasons or one of the biggest reasons, and they tend to fall flat. Seems like he's really backing it up. It's a funny one. I probably prefer he didn't shoot so well,
Of course he wouldn't.
but at the same time, La Liga without a strong Barcelona is not a really interesting league. So
yeah, that's true.
it's going to make El Clasico really exciting, at least.
Yeah.
2 more topics from my end. Bayern Munich dropping points. First time in 87 games that did not score a goal in the Bundesliga.
All I know is that lost a lot of people some money on the weekend.
Yeah, look, Oliver Kahn, I think he's the CEO of Bayern, came out saying they're supporting the coach Nagelsmann. He's going to stay on board. I guess they got international break. They want to regroup and focus.
They're going to win the league regardless. It's just
Well, that happened last season. They dropped a few points here and there, and Dortmund didn't capitalize, and Bayern just ran away with it. So it's still early in the season.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if anyone's been following too closely, but Sadio Mane's form has been a bit.
Started off good.
Yeah.
And hasn't
dropped
quite,
off a little.
Yeah, hasn't been quite good the past couple of weeks, but the whole team hasn't been firing. So
I like Nagelsmann. I like the coach. He's from that Guardiola school. Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann.
Yeah.
He's from that Guardiola school of football.
He's younger than the goalkeeper.
Nagel.
Which wasn't that, would you?
He's younger than Manuel Neuer.
He started off very confident, and then he just
Smann.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know how we got onto spelling bee, but the point is that
I just want to tell you how to fucking pronounce his name because your pronunciation leads a lot to be desired.
you could fucking just look at it after the podcast.
No, because I don't give a fuck for his name. I
Oh,
just found it was interesting.
Anyway.
Nagels.
I like the coach.
Stagels.
He's from the Guardiola School of Football, and he plays like that. So I thought that was a really exciting thing. I would like to see those coaches do well. But yeah, shifty form. Even though Johnny, like you said, they're probably going to win the league. Sometimes it's not enough, especially for a club like Bayern in Bundesliga. It's how you win.
I don't see Dortmund going through all the way. I think they're still shaky a bit, Dortmund. A couple lucky results.
Look, they are shaky, but I've been really happy with that. Sebastian Haller, he was diagnosed, I believe, with testicular cancer at the beginning of the season. He's still been able to make a comeback, even though he's been going through treatment. He's, performing. Sorry, you're going to interrupt me? Sorry.
No, go on. I was going to say, you did Jude Bellingham. What do you think of him? A lot of talk of him.
I like Jude Bellingham. He is a real talent. I do think he's a little overhyped. What do you guys think?
I agree.
I just hope the fans start chanting, "Hey, Jude."
I appreciate that.
A lot of talk about him, like the next best thing. So, I mean, I've watched him a few times. He's okay.
Apparently, there's a lot of news saying that Real Madrid's made him a priority for next season to replace Modric. I know it's a Real Madrid story, but I can't see him being talented enough to replace
I haven't heard that
Modric.
story at all.
I
don't know what underground Real Madrid fucking news you read on a daily basis, but fuck.
One last topic before we move on, start the show properly. Haaland still scoring.
Yes, Haaland's still scoring, yeah.
We're expecting him to slow down, but yeah, goal
Everyone
after game
checked
after
the
game.
over the goal he scored against Dortmund the other day because he kicked it, stuck his leg out. No love for the beautiful pass, but that's okay.
No, it's a great assist, but it's still like a very
He didn't
Zlatan sort of goal.
He didn't celebrate. He just went.
Against the whole club,
Yeah.
You worked out the pieces there.
Yeah.
Kind of.
They just had.
Good job.
I'm thinking, yes, it was Champions League, wasn't the Premier League. So
a
it
muted,
was
kind of a muted.
all happened so quickly.
Muted I wouldn't call it even a celebration. Just a muted response to scoring.
How many goals do you reckon he'll score? At this rate, he's going.
25.
76.
Any 30 seconds on Arsenal and how they're going?
Oh, I thought the whole show was about Arsenal. Do I have to say it now? Oh.
15-year-old debut, eh?
Arsenal's doing well.
What's going on?
Yeah, back in winning form, back in circles, I should say. Solid away win, clean sheet. Early days still, but yeah, you gotta respect Arteta for what he's done. He's turned it around a bit, but it'll be telling to see by the end of the season because obviously they've got Europa. I don't know how much emphasis he's going to put on the Europa League. I personally wouldn't. I would focus more on the league and trying to get into a Champions League spot and at least show improvement. I don't see us winning the Europa League, even if you focused on that entirely. You're bound to get a difficult away trip in Europe,
Well, yeah,
or
you
a
guys-
one-off game where you get knocked out, or
You're
you're not
going to see
100%,
Villarreal, and
something like that. So I would focus on the league because you've got time to make it right, to fix it, to qualify, make the top four, and genuinely show that they did the right, they made the right decision with sticking by him. So because there's no point making it to the final of the Europa, for example, losing and finishing fifth or sixth.
Mm.
Then you've done nothing.
No.
Nothing. No one remembers you making the final. Means jack shit.
noteworthy though because they had the youngest player in Premier League history debut for them on the
15
weekend.
years old.
Yeah, youngest since Fabregas. I think it's 2003. Fabregas was his debut. But anyway,
Let's get the show started.
Welcome to the Football Retro Podcast.
The word welcome, I guess, is stretching it a little when you're an Australian in a place like this today.
Welcome back. So, big episode today.
that was aggressive.
He was. I'm in an aggressive mood today. Looking at defensive midfielders. Straight into it. No bullshitting.
That's
Defensive
speaking of
midfielders.
aggression. That's it. The defensive midfield is also
And that's
an
why
aggressive player.
the traditional, here is the sixth role. In South America, we call it a 5. If you want to talk numbers on the pitch,
Mhm.
that natural defensive mid who is aggressive, who's dirty, whose job is to recover.
Interesting. Why 5? Who was a 5 for in Argentina that was so?
Redondo, Simeone, they're all considered a 5. That role, that position itself is considered number
Did
5.
they weigh number 5 at all?
I think Redondo did. Gago
Gago
did.
did, yeah.
Okay.
That's just the number.
It's just the way they line it up on the
Yeah.
field. 2, 3, 4, and then
Now, what I want to bring up is, once again, when we talk about strikers in the past,
So who's
do
centre back? 6.
you want to go through the whole
I'm
lineup?
asking in Argentina. So if you keep us one,
The 2 and the 6 are the 2 centre backs.
2 and 6.
3 is left back, 4 is right back.
Oh, that's weird. 4 right back. I don't know.
Anyways,
I don't know. Your arches are backwards.
South American football. Once Africans win a World Cup, you let me know.
So the country that still fucking has 2 different leagues that play 78 games and then have a break in between and have a siesta during the game
Yes, that's right.
and go do something else.
There's 9 World Cups in South America. How many in Africa?
In 9 World Cups.
I like that we never get off topic.
Going back to defensive mids. All right. So the role itself has changed and evolved. Like most, we spoke about goalkeepers in the past, but we spoke about centre backs. Now, Riquelme has come out recently, and I think it was a week or 2 ago,
I've known him for a while.
that
Is
said
he still alive?
he's vice president of Boca.
That's right.
He came out and said Busquets confused the whole world because Busquets is a defensive mid who plays like a 10. The way his ball distribution, the way he looks for gaps, the way he controls the game.
He's not.
Um,
he's not.
So he goes, now we expect the defensive mid to be this type of player when traditionally the defensive mid is that dirty player that does all the work and recovers the balls,
Yep.
and that's defensive work. But because of the way that Busquets is, he sort of confused the world as to what we look for in a defensive mid. I know, Akram, I can feel my neck burning here. I'm gonna get
He's already going.
to West Mid here, clinic for 3rd-degree burn from my neck.
Emergency on speed dial.
I reckon we should go around the table and just skip Akram. What do you reckon? What do you think of that?
I reckon his hair will burn off.
Yeah, it's true.
I
You
don't
mentioned those adjectives to describe that role. You know, the dirty work, the water carrier, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, you just see them there. They mop up, and then the rest of the playmakers do their job. It has changed in a bit. Well, in a way now where they do that, but also they got to, have good control of the ball, good vision as well. Look out for that key pass here and there. So it has changed in the past few years, maybe past decade, I'd say.
So who do you say is the number one defensive midfielder today in today's football?
Oh,
I've got a list here.
Golo Kante's up there,
hmm
definitely.
Not this year, but
Casemiro.
According to this list, Casemiro. Do you want to go through the current list first or the all-time list? Which one's
Alright.
All
Current.
right.
for once we agree.
So Casemiro is up there,
Yeah.
but he's at number 4.
Okay.
Wow, you've fucking.
No, that's
I was like, okay.
Before you
Fighting his
asked,
teeth.
90minute.com.
No, okay.
yeah, Casemiro. Yeah, he's his presence at Real Madrid was known. Whenever he wasn't there, you could feel the difference in the team. And
Kante's number 5.
Oh wow, I thought it'd be 3 or 2.
Yeah, but like Fatty said, this season,
Yeah, very subdued.
Still early days.
Fabinho number 3.
Oh, really?
Liverpool.
Oh,
This is the
that's-
Liverpool article.
it's the Liverpool article. He is trying to. It's a bit high for Fabinho.
Mhm.
I'm not saying he's a bad player, but
I would put Kante before Fabinho if it was me, but
that's right. But
I put Casemiro before.
Rodri
Yeah.
number 2, Manchester City.
I like Rodri.
Yeah.
Good quality player, strong. Good shooter of the ball as well.
So who, according to this article, who's missing? Who's number 1?
So, can't be Pogba. No.
No,
no.
bro. That guy even alive?
Is
Fuck it.
Premier League player?
No,
La Liga?
no,
Serie A?
no.
Bundesliga?
Yes.
Goretzka? No.
No.
Who's
This is just going to be
Bellingham.
idiot.
Who?
Bellingham's not.
no, not Bellingham.
Just-
No.
Bellingham?
No.
Come on,
Bro,
bro.
it's okay,
No,
man.
Who? Like, what?
You're clearly rusty,
I
man.
can't read it from you, man.
You can't read what the fuck?
I can't read it.
Kimmich.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
More of a right back. I guess
No, he's
now full time. He's now gone
Yeah,
full
it's
time
fair.
into that role.
Kimmich,
Number-
according to this, the best defensive midfielder today.
Oh.
Declan Rice, number 6.
Yeah, Declan Rice is actually a good player.
Yeah.
I
I'm
think
surprised he's still
six
there.
spot.
In front of
current
Chouameni.
players.
Yeah, Chouameni's give him a few more years. He'll
Yeah,
be
he's really
number
young.
one. He is so good. He's really good.
Chelsea were after Declan Rice for a little bit.
Declan Rice is a little underrated, surprisingly, for an English player. But I think it's also the team he's in. I think he needs to move, and not to Man City, because he'll get lost in there. He won't get enough game time. Like the likes of Rodri, and the midfield is stacked, so he won't get a run in there. But I think a better team than where he's at, or a team that's competing, where he's going to get game time.
Arsenal.
I would love to take him at Arsenal because Xhaka
Mhm.
doesn't have much left. He would be
You
perfect.
can fit in everywhere. You can have rice with chicken, with beef, with tuna. So he's very versatile.
Good. It's good.
Did you like that one? Busquets number 8, and I think that's just basically to do with his age more than anything else. Any other time, 10 years ago, he would have been number 1 for sure.
His peak was obviously 09 to
Yeah.
2015.
And that's funny you
Time.
say that, considering 09 is fucking 13 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
13 years ago he was number 1, and for him to still be in the top 10 now
Yeah.
is a testament to his longevity, I would say. Did you like that sentence? Fuck wit.
Okay, Hack, you can have 120 seconds max on this whole Busquets argument,
120.
and what Ricky almost said.
There's only 90 seconds left on the episode. Just tell him that.
No. My only comment was thinking like, all right, Busquets confused everyone about defensive. I was like, did Andre Pirlo not play at all? Like he was.
Was Pirlo
come on.
defensive mid or was Gattuso defensive mid?
I feel like
Gattuso
Gattuso was
Gattuso.
more the
But the
He
role that
was the dirty worker.
yeah.
Yeah. You never known him with the
break up
technique
the
and
play.
skill.
I think defensive mid. I think Gattuso. I think
but
that style of football.
But see, what's confusing about what you're saying is you're saying Gattuso did the dirty work, but Busquets didn't do the dirty work. He literally just said his role was a defensive mid, but played as a 10. That's exactly what Andrea Pirlo is. He was a regista. He literally would drop back and take the ball and direct it from that deep line playmaker role.
Who did Pirlo play next to?
Gattuso and Ambrosini.
But you just contradicted yourself.
What? Well, explain.
In those three, out of those 3, who's the defensive mid?
But I see, like that doesn't make sense because you're just saying that Busquets is defensive mid that doesn't play like a
Johnny, I
defensive
agree
mid.
with you.
Busquets, Xavi, and Iniesta. Who's the defensive mid out of them 3?
Busquets.
Okay, Gattuso, Pirlo, and who else?
Ambrosini.
Ambrosini. Who's the defensive mid out of them 3?
Gattuso.
So, but you can't have 2 players that operate the same in the
Like a-
same
yes,
area of the
like a double
team.
pivot,
Like,
like a double pivot.
it literally doesn't make sense. You cannot say that Pirlo was not a defensive mid. That's the area of the
He
map.
had defensive duties, but Gattuso was the one who man-marked
Yes.
players,
Yes, he did the defensive part.
who purposely got cards,
But
purposely did dirty
Barcelona
shit.
didn't have a defensive sided player. Busquets played like a 10. He's what this
Was Pirlo a defensive mid? Yes or no?
Not purely defensive mid. I
That's
think
it. It was
No, not
Pirlo,
purely.
with
Agree with
Pirlo.
the Darcy.
Not
Okay.
purely.
How come shut the fuck up?
Oh, he got him. Yeah, he's fucking. Now he's pissed off.
Yeah, now
He reminded me of
you
Xavi
don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Xabi Alonso.
What do you mean? Xabi Alonso was also a defensive mid.
But like, it might have been though in terms of that.
He came back one episode and he's fucking rude again.
That's why he's been so when he had the ball, in terms of passing and picking out the player.
Okay, let me ask you. Let me throw.
So that's like saying Scholes is a defensive mid.
No, it's not. It
Scholes
literally
and Kane play together.
Okay, let me throw another name at you here, just to throw another name in the works as spanner. Yaya Toure.
Yeah, but Yaya Toure is actually known for his defensive qualities as well.
But the guy
And-
scored
and-
fucking goals. He was box to box.
What
Yeah.
does that have to do with the fact that on the area of the pitch that he played the most on, it was the defensive midfielder area? Polo literally was his role. You can be a defensive player like Gattuso and still be more of a centre mid. Kante is not exactly a pure CDM.
Forget the Pirlo. Redondo, another example. He was a bit of a playmaker as well.
He was, yeah. He loved to stride forward with the ball, and
Who did he play in the midfield with back in the late 90s? 98, for example. Who was the 98 starting midfield for Real Madrid in the Champions League final?
he was there as like a diamond. And then he was
Who was next to him?
next to him was Seedorf was in the team.
I mean, Seedorf was more.
Defensive?
No, he's just centre mid.
Centre mid, yeah. So
And by the way,
Redondo
another
hang
player that
back,
played next to Polo.
Redondo would hang back more, I remember. And Seedorf would be more further up the field.
I love Seedorf actually.
Who, by the way, played a lot of the
Right.
game time with Polo.
Speaking of Seedorf, then what about Davids?
Yeah.
When Seedorf and Davids played both for Holland starting together, then
Yeah.
Davids played a little deeper. Davids did the dirty work.
He did a lot of that, yeah. He was they call him Pitbull for a reason.
That's right.
Mm.
Midfield. Redondo, Carambau,
Christian
Christian
Carambo.
Carambo.
instead of.
French
Yeah,
master
French player.
with his fucking gay dreads.
So
He
Redondo,
was shit. He was
Redondo
overrated.
technically is the
Okay, he
defensive
had his
midfielder.
good period. And
Don't
then
rate him.
a couple of years of his peak, and that's it.
He was even shit for France. He barely got any game time for
He won
France.
the World Cup and Euros.
Obviously, but
So you have a lineup there of would you mind going to an AC Milan one and see who the defensive mid is?
Which-
why is that?
One
Why
year.
is so fucking angry? What's wrong with
I am
you?
because I don't like when you just dismiss it and say shut the fuck up.
Which
When- 2003.
That's
And-
very fine.
And you know what? Bit of a clue. None of them are going to be listed on the thing as defensive midfield. It's like a 4-3-1-2 or 4-3-1-2 or 4-3-2-1.
Bro, calm down. You're gonna have
So
a fucking
aggressive.
seizure.
100%.
Yeah, Gattuso, Pirlo, and Seedorf in the middle.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, but who's the defensive midfield?
Gattuso.
Gattuso is a defensive
It's
midfield.
the centre mids. They're all centre mids.
Can have
Again,
a
based on that.
double pivot as Jose Mourinho would do.
Who's got the defensive qualities
Double
between
pivot,
Gattuso and
what the fuck?
Pirlo?
But
Two
Busquets doesn't have a
front-
defensive quality.
But he played with no defensive players next to him. That's the whole argument.
But that's not the point. The point
Yes,
is,
it is. The
no,
whole
it's
point.
not because the point is as a
Out
player.
out of the three midfielders, he does the dirty work.
But in Barcelona, no one does the dirty work.
So they just got the ball back magical. Oh, here you go, guys. We
Everyone
had a
corrects.
chance. We had a shot. It didn't go off. Here you go.
So then, who did the dirty work? We just said Busquets played like a 10.
No, he played like. So
He was
did
a
the dirty
defensive
work,
mid
but he
player.
was still. He was also
He had the
distributing.
qualities of a 10.
I've never heard of anyone really refer to.
I think.
Busquets
I
having
think you're.
a high defensive
I think
capability.
you're lost in translation a little. Like you're speaking English, not fucking Spanish.
Dude, Busquets is known just like Andrea Pirlo. They're like a regista. They're a deep line playmaker.
Just admit that you don't like Busquets because of his fucking
No,
success.
I'm
at
just
Barca.
saying that, like, there are other players that also.
And your
fulfill the role.
clear Madrid bias obviously is creeping in here.
You know
Even
what?
Darcy acknowledged and he nodded.
I just think he's a different type of DM.
Let's move on to
Why so dejected?
the all time.
All time.
Johnny's had enough.
How
of
many
it,
is in
fucking-
this list? 10?
We've got 10 here.
Okay.
I've got two different lists from two different.
Ah, here we go. Two shit
One
websites.
is a good website and one less known.
What's the good website?
Bleacher Report is well known,
No, they're Americans.
but the word
Okay,
known.
let's-
The word known. I'm saying.
They don't know shit.
There's no website.
Okay, let's make this for soccer. Hey,
And the
yeah,
other one's called Global
Listen,
Hour. It's
when they used to have penalty shootouts from halfway, you know they're taking a piss.
Honestly, the
We've got fucking ice hockey.
I hate it.
Hey, let me ask you a question. There's American penalty shootouts where you fucking run at the keeper and they can run out.
5 seconds to shoot or 10 seconds to shoot. whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Would you have that back or not?
as a piss take. No,
No, as a legitimate way
No,
to end the
no.
game.
No.
Would you have it back to
No,
legitimately end the game?
But like Johnny said, it was fun as a piss.
All right. Which one do you want? The Bleacher Report or the other one
Who
first?
gives a fuck? They're all going to be stupid.
I like how you trash our content during the podcast. Why watch us when this guy's saying fuck this shit?
We'll go to the Bleacher Report because they won't move online, even if they're Americans.
Oh my god!
So, number 10.
Report.
It's soccer.
Number 10. I'm surprised he's even on the list. Simeone.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Why are you surprised? You're a
He
fanboy.
was.
Yeah, but like to be 10 greatest of all
I-
time, I think it's a bit high.
I liked his time at Inter. He was really good there, and at Lazio as well. And so at Atletico Madrid. But
He did really well at international level as well.
yeah, of course, David Beckham.
98 World Cup.
98, yeah. That's what it's most like when you think of Simeone, you think 98 World Cup.
What he did there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was the hardworking Argentinian in that middle. Did he play 94 World Cup?
Yes, he
Yeah,
did.
Yeah, so he was around there for a while, and then
02.
and 02. Wow, 3 World Cups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
106 caps.
Yeah.
I don't know if he said it, but the term of playing with a knife between your teeth came from his style of play. Just like it's like a battle, it's like a war. That sort of player. That's where you think of the defensive mid we're talking about. That battle, that just dirty work, the leader leading from the field. Mascherano did that later in the years in the 2014 World Cup.
Yeah.
And I keep saying it to me. Yeah, Messi won the best player of the tournament, but Mascherano to me was better.
Yeah.
In that role, doing all the dirty work, getting the ball, cleaning.
Yeah.
But to me, Simeone, personally, I think it's a bit high out of all time defensive
Yeah.
mids. But at number 10, that's where he's
Okay.
Okay.
Choice.
Interesting.
number 9. Dunga.
Oh, I remember Dunga had a solid 94 World Cup and obviously captained Brazil
Yeah.
in that tournament. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel it's a little high.
I've never really known him with a club level. All I've known him was at the national team level. Like he played in Japan and he played in Brazil.
Yeah,
but
he didn't have such a prolific club
didn't-
career.
I can't really recall his club career
Fame,
much.
his fame, and when he became known for was obviously
Yeah.
captaining Brazil.
And,
and then 94,
and 98 played as well as well.
That's right.
France 98. So,
Who captained 98? Wasn't it Cafu?
so Cafu or Dunga, one of them.
We're 98.
Yeah,
Yeah.
France.
I don't think Dunga was captain.
He wasn't
Yeah.
Dunga.
I'm pretty
He
sure
might
it
have
was
been.
Cafu.
Cafu definitely did 02.
Yeah.
Might have been 98 as well. He played at Fiorentina for 4 years.
Not Romario 98, no.
No, he was out injured.
All right. Number 8. Graham Souness, Scottish, Liverpool.
But fuck this list already. Just fuck it off. It's just done already. Seriously.
Should we just skip that one?
It's just getting worse already. I don't fuck that Irish cunt.
So
Whatever he
if
is.
Diego,
Welsh.
Some
Scottish.
Queen's cunt. Anyway.
Well,
Diego
Welsh.
Simeone to be high.
Oh, we didn't talk about the Queen passing away. We didn't pay respects to Her Majesty.
Your Majesty. I
Thank you for the
respect
public
you.
holiday.
And fuck Charles, not even.
I complained at my place of work. Went to my boss and said, "There are double standards on my work." Everyone was upset. The flag half mast when the Queen passed. When Maradona passed away a couple of years ago, the same respect wasn't shown. I wasn't happy with.
Well, we're both showing respect. We're wearing dark, wearing black.
Mhm.
And Darcy's wearing dark. This guy's wearing Everlast. Everlast. Fucking that's a bit ironic.
Ironic.
I wasn't filled in on the dress code. I'm sorry.
Number 7 on the list, Edgar Davids.
I like Edgar Davids personally
Big fan of him.
because I'm a Dutch fan. So I always loved him. I loved his work ethic. I hated when he went to Tottenham, but nonetheless, I loved him as a player. I'd be curious to see the rest of the list, and then I can say if he's appropriately placed.
He was an amazing player. He was, defensively on the ball, everything. I mean, yeah, he was probably one of Barcelona's most important signings. I think in that 03-04 season, the year when they had Ronaldinho, he came in halfway through on loan from Inter, and he helped that team, that struggling Barcelona side, so much to get that top 4 spot. And yeah, he played a big part in that. He's such a good player. He was really, and that, of course, synonymous with those goggles.
Yeah, and the dreadlocks and all that,
yeah.
and the style of play, and
Yeah.
the nickname, like you said before, the Pitbull. Like
Yeah.
he's definitely a player that had that kind of style as well as that substance, and really great player for Juventus at one of their best periods of
Yeah,
football.
One
I
of
loved
the-
him at
The
Juventus.
golden generation of that Ajax Academy as well. He's part of that.
Yeah,
Someone who did all the dirty work in a great team is number 6, Didier Deschamps.
Yeah, I mean he's.
Zidane,
He doesn't-
Cantona, Henry.
He doesn't seem to like the French connection. there,
I
which is-
saw him more. It was all from the 97, 98 towards 2000. That's when he retired, but he did have some success with Marseille in '93 when they won the Champions League. He was a part of that strong Marseille team.
Didn't he captain the '98 World Cup winning squad?
Yeah, he
The
did.
captain 98, yes.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
France,
well, not the biggest player, but he was.
But he did the dirty work in the
he did.
middle.
And
did.
Yeah, he had Laurent Blanc behind him.
Yeah, he didn't get much
Best
of the recognition.
lead behind him.
He didn't have the recognition that you think he'd get, but that's the role, isn't it? He doesn't get much recognition, does it?
So would you put him at the 6th best defensive midfielder of all time?
Probably not all time, but he was good. But I don't know if it would be.
I like it.
Like I would say, Davids would be higher than
Yeah.
Deschamps in my opinion.
But Deschamps was inspirational in '98.
And Euros as well. So
That's true.
Euro 2000, yeah.
Number 5, Patrick Vieira.
I agree
Oh.
with that.
fantastic.
I agree with the Euro.
6, 5, and 4 are French.
I agree definitely with Patrick Vieira. The French really they produce a lot of quality midfielders in that era, and I'm sure there's going to be a few more that come up that are French. For me, Vieira is definitely up there. He was he was defensive. He did a lot of the dirty work, but he was also box to box,
Yeah.
and he was always up and down. Very tall, lanky. Look at him, think, oh, he's going to be fucking weird with the ball, but last ditch tackles. He also had a fucking big stride on him. Surprisingly decent with his footwork for a player of his stature.
And one of the very few to take on Roy Keane as well.
Yeah, he was very, and again, that leadership, that strength in the middle, very inspirational, very leader. Like before Henry at Arsenal, you know, when you had Vieira on the pitch, you knew that you were going to have a fucking good game because everyone would lift around him. So
Yeah, great player.
I agree with his positioning on the list.
6, 5, and 4 are French. Like I said, number 4, Makelele.
That's the name I didn't mention because I had a feeling
When
they're
he
coming
said
up.
French, that name was going to come
Yeah,
up. Yeah.
absolutely. Makelele to me should be the top 2.
Love Makelele.
I think Makelele should be second on that list even
Yeah, I mean,
because he epitomizes that defensive midfielder. When you look at a defensive mid and the clubs that he did it at, he performed in every club he was at in that role perfectly.
absolutely. And that's 3 years at Real Madrid in 2000 to 2003. So instrumental in the success there. And when he left, Perez's biggest mistake was letting him go, and we hadn't recovered. You know, they signed defensive mid after defensive mid. They didn't quite fill that replacement quite well. But
Listen to the article. Makelele was underappreciated so much so that Real Madrid let him go to Chelsea instead of increasing his wages. But the trend here is
Here we
the
go.
trend with his club
Here we go.
underappreciating
But
players.
he's going to validate it
No,
somehow now.
I'm talking to you, Fatty. I'm talking to you, Fatty.
Yeah.
But do you see a trend
I
in
do see
regards
the
to
trend.
a certain club and the words underappreciating? You got the Bales, the Hazard,
Bale was the highest paid.
the Makelele's now. I'm in a conversation. Can you not
Yeah,
interrupt,
well,
please?
to interrupt.
No.
I had to
Can you
object.
please? Can you please? I'm talking to Fatty.
Go
here.
for it.
Wow.
So just saying here, not me, not my words, but BleacherReport.com. Claude Makelele was underappreciated so much so that Real Madrid let him go
It's even hyphenated.
instead-
Underappreciated.
instead of increasing his wages. So let him the 4th best defensive midfielder of all time according to this list. Here you go.
And that's why I
We don't want
said,
to increase your wage. Excuse me, I'm still talking.
get going.
Anyways, number 3
And then who did they sign? Who did they sign
to
after that?
replace
Too many,
Makelele.
but too many players.
Thomas Gravison.
Thomas Bravis.
To replace
That's the name.
Makelele.
Is he
There you
number one?
go.
But you know what? Maybe he's number 1 on the list. That's
If he
why.
does, I'll take it back.
Didn't I just think
If he does, I'll take it
we
back.
made mistakes though?
I thought Perez didn't make mistakes. Does he?
He first did. He made too many.
In his first
Oh, no, not now though. He hasn't made any.
it cost him the presidency because after that
We had
things
no
went so
success
badly,
on
he
the
had,
field.
he had
For
to
next
resign.
year, no success.
Number
He came back.
Num-
Part of the master plan.
Number 3, and although he's a great player, I might disagree with where he's on the list. Roy Keane.
No, I disagree.
He's
Too high.
so he's a little bit high for my
Too
liking.
high. I'm sorry. Roy Keane above
Yeah.
Claude Makelele though.
To be honest, I reckon he's too high above Claude Makelele and Patrick Vieira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Do you
think
think Claude Makelele is too high?
No.
Keane.
I'm saying that Keane is too high above not just Makelele but also Vieira.
I agree,
rate,
yeah.
I rate Vieira over Keane.
I agree.
Like Keane gets, he was obviously a very good player who knew his role well. I think he gets a slightly overhyped because of his leadership qualities and his connection to Man United.
Hmm.
Inspirational leader, great job, all around. But would you take Keane over Vieira?
No.
I mean, like how tall was King? King was like what 6'4", 6'1". Vieira's 6'4", lanky as fuck. Like
but Vieira also assisted. Vieira
it was
scored.
box to box. He was
Yeah.
like the first real box to box. The last player before Vieira would have been maybe Lothar Matthäus. That was as devastating, up and down the field.
Yeah.
According to this article, once again, Fergie said that he was the greatest player he's ever coached.
Yeah, but like I
Probably
know
in terms of
you know,
desire and hunger and commitment.
and coachability and doing whatever he wanted. He was that ultimate team
He's a
player.
soldier.
Yeah, a soldier, and that's great. Like honestly, I think we would all love 10 of those guys on our clubs that we all follow and all that. But over Vieira, over Makalele,
Definitely not over Makalele. No way.
I would say though, I do see him above the rest of the list. I would put him at 5.
Maybe. Number 2, Frank Rijkaard.
Yeah, I like Frank Rijkaard. I think
There's a lot of grimacing going on around the table. Everyone's going.
well because
No,
I'm
he was
honestly
great,
I'm
but-
trying to think who's number 1 right now. And I was
You
like,
mentioned him just no longer.
oh, fair enough. I don't know what I said before. But I like Frank Rijkaard. Obviously, was a really gifted, did his role very well, but also was a technically gifted player. Was able to move the ball around and pass the ball well. So I really think number 2. Yeah, you're gonna have to give it to him, eh?
In both lists, number 2 and number 1 are the same.
Same order.
Same order.
They just copied each other.
Number 1 for both lists. Who do you think it is?
I realized what I said before. It's Lothar Matthäus.
Yes.
Yeah. It would have to be. Matthäus has to.
Oh, I think it's hard to argue against that.
Yeah.
He
without
was
doubt.
he was a number 10 on his back of his shirt. Played centre back as well, sweeper. Was it?
He played. I think he
And
played at
defensive
right
mid,
back.
Yeah.
Played at right back for a while as well.
So he was very versatile.
And you know what makes it number 1? 2 weeks ago, Matthäus donated the jersey. So he changed jerseys with Maradona in the World Cup final.
I saw that.
90.
And he
yeah.
donated it back to a museum in Argentina. Number 1. What's that? Number 1.
So you love Germans now. First you hated them since 2014. Now you love them.
Fatty, Argentinians have
got
always
that.
had an affinity with Germans. Like they
Adolf,
harbour half of them.
Why?
my boy.
He wasn't your boy in 2014, was he?
Adolf is dead.
No, your other boy.
Mario.
Little penis
Mario.
boy.
Peter Mario.
Yeah. Little penis boy, extra time goal.
Why are we even talking about that? We're talking about
Any
defensive
opportunity to
midfielders.
We spoke about, you said Germany, Argentina.
Lothar Matthäus is Germany. So
So there's no argument that he's number 1.
I don't think that there's an
Fair
argument.
choice.
out of the 10 players, he's the only one that I'm pretty sure has won a Ballon d'Or. He was, breathtaking for Inter, and for Germany as well. He was clearly number 1.
The only difference in the other list is Makalele coming out number 3.
That's fair.
Yep.
Roy Keane number 4.
Yep.
Johan Niskins number 5.
Oh, you're on Niskins.
Johan Niskins, which
Johan
we didn't mention
Niskins.
the other one.
Yeah, he
He's a
didn't.
massive part of the
Yeah,
Dutch
Yeah,
machine of
that's-
the 70s.
That's
Total
revolution. That's right.
football.
which I thought he should have been in there. So in the article from Bleacher Report
He wasn't in there. No,
at all.
Yeah.
They said that I would have put him over Graham Souness.
I agree.
100%.
But I mentioned as well Yaya Toure, as a notable. I would think Toure would be at least in the top 10.
All time.
Yeah, Toure, Diego Simeone.
I was like, too right.
Yaya
Yeah,
Toure.
yeah.
Deschamps still number 6.
Yaya Toure did it at Barcelona as well. Don't forget.
He's one that no
He
one's.
didn't just do it in a Man City team that was, dominating.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
people seem to forget he was part of that
Yeah.
early strong Barcelona side from 2008 to 2010. It's only 3 years, but he was very influential.
The other article included Varela, who was the defensive midfielder for Uruguay in the 1950 World Cup. Obviously, no one's watched him play, but he's a very
He played
big
in
figure.
Qualify against Australia. He scored in a penalty shootout. Remember him?
1950.
Oh, 50. Oh, so I'm thinking Gustavo Varela. Sorry.
Oh,
I'm
dude,
thinking,
yeah.
what's that guy?
Fuck, he lasted a while his career.
No, Gustavo. I'm thinking Gustavo Varela for Uruguay in that 05 qualifier. No, sorry.
He's definitely not on that list.
No.
No, but Varela was sort of the leader in that 1950 Maracanazo, where Uruguay beat Brazil in the final.
There's a few notable mentions that we haven't mentioned.
Number 8, Vieira. Number 9, Edgar Davids in the other list. And number 10, Dunga. So the honorable mentions.
Number 8 Vieira on this list.
Mhm.
Far.
And Roy Keane was 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a bit skewed.
The three mentions that they have here as noble mentions are Redondo, which we spoke about, Busquets, and Graham Souness as well.
Yeah.
Before we go, any last names that come to mind?
There's a few names, I think. Someone like, yeah, I mean, not as consistent, but you've got to throw people in like Michael Essien, for example, at Chelsea. Did it very consistently for a period there under Mourinho, and he was really a fucking one of the main cogs in that Chelsea machine that dominated in that 2004.
I love the defensive mid role.
Yeah,
Like when I watch, it's my best.
Favorite role to watch.
I love it. Like I love that. I think it's very underappreciated in regards to what he does and how important it is to have a solid.
It must be
defensive
one
mid.
of those positions where you need a lot of fitness and stamina to play. 90
and
minutes.
leadership.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
it's a very nuanced role because you are trying to, especially in modern football, balance your defensive duties along with like technical ones and offensive ones. You got to many of these players on this list, and then players in modern day football have to know when to get forward, when to commit to an attack, and all that. So I think it's a real interesting role. It's probably the most interesting role in football.
Who would you say for Germany would be a defensive mid aside from Mateus, like more recently?
Sami Khedira, he was known.
Yeah,
he was known to do the hard, dirty
I
work.
didn't even like him though.
He was decent for Real for most of the
I
part,
mean, like
and then he
pure
was part of
blood.
World
I mean,
Cup.
like pure
part of World
blood
Cup.
German, not like Algerian
Like Ozil.
and Polish and Turkish and shit.
Times changed, but one close to home, Vinny Grella in Skrilla. I thought he was.
I loved Vinny Grella actually.
Didn't get much appreciation,
No, he did a lot of
recognition for
work.
what he did. He wasn't
a lot of
really
work.
flashy. Didn't really score many goals, if any. But he did the dirty work, as you say, the water carrier.
Yeah,
he was really good.
that 06
That goal
squad
generation,
was great. It was great
a
in
big
that
part
goal
of that.
generation, 100%.
Yeah.
Xabi Alonso.
I thought about
Mm.
Alonso, but again, he's one of those that you think he's more like a creative player as well. He does the dirty work, but he can also
Great
ping a
vision.
pass.
Great vision.
He can
there.
ping a diagonal fucking
Yeah.
50-meter pass.
Similar to Gago. Gago could play the role
Yeah.
of doing the dirty work, and you have the ability to be a playmaker as well.
I think Gargo mentioned him before. Him being the next Redondo kind of hurt him a lot. He did.
What hurt him with the injuries, injury after injury, like major injuries.
Yeah.
Had about 7 major injuries.
Oh,
Maybe he got
that-
injured on
that too,
purpose.
that
'cause he
too,
got
but
too much
he
pressure
just
on him.
didn't.
Yeah, he ripped
I
his
think there was
Achilles.
just too much pressure.
He ripped his Achilles 3 times on purpose.
There was too much pressure.
Because there was
with
pressure. He was carrying too
the
much
next-
pressure, bro.
The next Redondo
His
tag.
ankles gave way.
The next Redondo tag was. I
I
think
got you back.
it was
I
too
got
much
you
for him. Yeah, but he was one that. Yeah, he was good for that couple of years.
Given the English style of football, we haven't mentioned any English players.
Because I mean, what are you going to say,
We
Gerrard?
mentioned Declan Rice, but
Stevie G?
historically speaking, would you consider Stevie G as a defensive mid?
I mean, if I kind of
Gerrard
looked at
was
him,
more
I looked
box to box as well.
Yeah, but that's what the thing is. Like I always looked at him and Vieira as very similar players, with one honestly being not as good as the other. But I looked at him. I could see the argument for him being a defensive midfielder.
In that golden generation, the 3 midfielders were Scholes, Lampard, and Gerrard.
Mm.
So out of the 3, you think Gerrard's the most defensive in a way?
Yeah, I would
he
say
was.
so.
You'd see him when he was playing. He'd get stuck in tackles and in the middle of the park. But he did also have those runs going forward a lot and scored those many goals as well. So
We didn't talk about we mentioned him before when we had our spat about Pirlo, but Gattuso.
Yeah, Gattuso.
I said it before. I think defensive role and technically, like naturally, I think of Gattuso before Roy Keane for some reason.
Mm.
Of that just bulldog type of player that just gets in there and
Because he had that reputation of just getting stuck in all the time, didn't he?
that
Yeah.
aggressiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. Gattuso was great.
Anyone else?
Oh,
Yeah, I
we'll
think we've
remember a
covered- I think
few
we've
once we
covered-
stop recording.
Once again, we're gonna
Uh,
stop recording and then.
Lasana Diarra, remember him?
Oh,
He
yeah,
was-
you're
come
stretching
on,
it.
man.
Yeah.
There was a time when Real
He came at Arsenal for 2 games because they realized Wenger realized he was a retard and let him go.
If you're gonna mention Real Madrid players,
No.
I'll mention Cambiaso as well.
Actually,
Cambiaso, though.
Cambiaso.
Cambiaso, the big one. Fuck,
I like
lucky
how
we
you
didn't.
said that as a joke.
We're actually lucky we didn't miss that one. That was a big one.
He was the defensive mid in Argentina for the 06 World
Fernando
Cup.
Hierro. Was Fernando Hierro started defensive mid, then he went to centre back.
And another one that
Come on, bro.
I'm saying he
Like
was
you
one
just had to
that-
fucking say him because
Yeah.
it's fucking
Raul once again the boy had to drop off at a defensive mid position, so let's mention Raul as well.
He started off there.
Another one that could play both is Desailly. He played as a defensive mid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
he played as defensive midfielder,
then-
midfielder
but
for
then-
AC Milan.
Yeah, but then when they, his major role, especially with France, for example, was at centre back.
I want to go back to Cambiasa for a second though, Johnny, because
Yeah, I feel like we just skimmed over.
we just
him.
skipped over. He was a player at Real Madrid who was shit, underappreciated.
They didn't realize they.
I think any player that got some of this underappreciated.
Give us a timeline.
It's a
Another one
prerequisite.
bites the dust.
It's a prerequisite.
It is true.
And another one goes, and another one goes.
Now it is true, considering he actually was on the squad when Makalele left.
He was.
He was a young player there, and considering the players that they brought in to replace Makalele had guessed to become Bielsa on the squad, they let him go to Inter, and
Yeah.
he blossomed.
They
Oh yeah, he
They
killed
missed that. They
AC
missed
Milan.
it.
Instrumental for their
Should we just
treble.
Yes.
Should we just do an episode of underappreciated players by Real
Yes,
Madrid?
that's the next episode, episode 79.
count me out.
Dude, you can't talk when with your links to Chelsea. Like, how many players did they get rid of? They became world beaters.
I'm not in denial. I'm not
Oh,
in
One
denial.
player mentioned, I don't know. No, we talk about Chelsea. It just came across my mind. John Obi Mikel.
He was rubbish. He's not underappreciated shit.
No, I'm not under pressure. I'm saying as a defensive mid.
He needs to go back to fucking Lesotho.
But he's got more Champions League than Arsenal, so
Oh,
I think I defend him. I fucking backed you up the whole way, mate. Fucking down. Get fucked.
When you look at the list of players that we've talked about here, I think Kante, even though he's a current player, he was on the current list, that is worth bringing up because at the end of his career, and what is he, 31 now? He's he's getting up there. Where does he place for you guys with some of the players that?
I don't know how high he's on the list, but today he's obviously Makalele is better, but he's a modern day Makalele the way I see him. He does so much dirty work, so much running. 2-3 years ago, even when Chelsea won the Champions League, the amount of work he did in that tournament is disgusting. He was everywhere. He
was
didn't
a player of the
stop.
match, was he? Or
He did not stop.
At his
I was
best,
tired just watching him. Like it was
100%. At his best, he's more than just like that water carrier who would sit back and wait and then hack the guy who would come past. He would press, and he would be like the only person in the midfield just pressing all
doesn't
game.
stop.
What about Jeremy? He's another Real Madrid favorite.
and Chelsea.
And Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit of a trend.
He was
They
a
leave
right-
Real Madrid, they go
Right
Chelsea.
back, he went to centre mid. I remember.
But if you ask Darcy, 11th on the list should have been Gravison.
Thomas Gravison. What a signing that was by Real Madrid. Astute signing. Who signed him?
Perez.
To replace who? Makalele?
Oh, there was plenty that tried to replace Makalele. They couldn't get the job.
Oh,
was plenty
That English
They-
Pablo Garcia, another one, the Uruguayan. Ugh.
Dusty, it's been nice having you back, man. I gotta say.
Hey, wasn't Jeremy with Makalele at the same time?
Real, yeah.
Yeah.
They
He
played-
probably thought, I don't want two niggas in the middle. I'm fucking get rid of one. So he fucked off the wrong one. He probably got confused and thought,
Yeah, look alike.
send the negro away. And then they sent fucking Makalele instead of Jeremy by accident. What a
that-
fuck up.
On that note, can we just clarify he speaks on behalf of himself, not the show?
Disclaimer.
On that note, we'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.